When I was starting out with the oboe, I only ever used the forked F because I didn't have a private teacher and I didn't know any better. But what nobody ever told me is that forked F actually has the worst sound of all of the F options on the oboe. Today I'm going to demystify the oboe's 3 F fingerings and show you exactly when to use each one so that you can always sound your best. Using the forked F fingering for all of your Fs is the exact opposite of what you want to do. You always want to use the regular F fingering if possible. Let me just show you the difference between the sound of the 2 Fs. So this is the regular F. It sounds like this. And then this is the forked F. And it sounds like this. So I'll play them next to each other so you can hear the difference. Can you hear how the forked F is a little more muffled sounding and stuffy, and the tone in the regular F is much clearer? That's why you always want to use the regular F when you can. But there are times when you're coming from or going to a D or E flat where your ring finger can't be on the F key and has to be down on the D key. And you can't smoothly go from this one to this one. And that is when you need to use a forked F fingering, because it keeps your finger on that D key and you just lift this one up. If your instrument doesn't have the F resonance key, and I will show you what that looks like, on the back of your oboe, down by this cluster, there's this key right here. This is the F resonance key. If your oboe does not have that key, then when you do the forked F, you'll need to push down the E flat key as well, which makes the E flat open up, which is on this side. But if you do have the F resonance key, don't push the E flat when you do forked F, or it sounds bad like this. I'll play forked F and then with the E flat key down. It makes it go sharp. If you're really lucky, you'll have the option to use a third F fingering, which is the left F. That is this key right here by your A flat key. And instead of your ring finger on your right hand, you push it with your left hand on this key. And all it does is it holds down that key with your left hand instead. So it gives you that same good sound of the regular F, but allows your ring finger to be free to go straight to a D or an E flat. Sometimes when playing your music, it's hard to think fast enough to decide which F fingering you need to use in the moment. So that's why I always mark in which F fingering I will use. If I'm going to be using the regular right hand F key, then I don't mark anything, and I just remember that I'm going to use the regular fingering if there's nothing marked. If I'm going to need to use the forked F key, I will make a little sideways bracket like this, so that I know that that's the fingering I will use. If I'm going to use the left F key, I just simply write the letter L above the note. The B flat major scale is probably the first one you'll learn in beginning band. And this scale is an example of when you will need to use the forked F fingering. It would also work with the left fingering if you have that available on your instrument. As you can see in the scale, on the way up, you play an E flat right before the F. And so that ring finger is going to be busy holding down that D key. And on the way back down the scale, you will be playing an E flat right after your F. So your ring finger needs to be ready to play the E flat. If you mark it in your music, you can see at a glance which F you're going to use, so you can be prepared. In most situations, I would choose to use the left F over the forked F because it has a better tone. But there are certain cases that even if you have the left F key on your instrument, it would be better to use the forked F. And those situations would include times when you need to use your left pinky finger for an A flat or E flat, but those times don't come up very often in beginner music. Now that you know which fingerings to use, your technique should be much smoother. But if you're still having a problem with your sound, the issue might not be your fingers, it could be your reed. So go ahead and grab my free reed evaluation checklist down in the description so that you can diagnose whether the problem is coming from your reed. And for more self-taught oboist survival tips, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.